Today we will discuss about the structure inside the neck. We have dissected. This is the anterior midline of the neck, and this is a posteriorly. This is a posterior line, and the neck, which is divided into the two part by the sternocleidomastoid. Anterior to it is called the anterior triangle. Behind to it is called the posterior triangle of the neck. So we have already removed the skin, superficial fascia, and here you can see this is an investing layer of deep cervical fascia and the platysma muscles. So we will reflect on the side. Now we will discuss about the anterior triangle. Anterior triangle basically divided into the 3.5 triangle. So one is the submental triangle, it is the midline triangle. Another is the digastric triangle, carotid triangle, and the muscular triangle. This is the muscular triangle. So the anterior triangle, which is subdivided by the anterior belly of digastric, posterior belly of digastric, superior belly of omoid, and anterior midline, as well as the posteriorly anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. Now we will discuss one by one the triangle. Here we have removed the right side of the half of the mandible, so that's why you just see this is a left side of the mandible, half of the mandible. So submental triangle, which is bounded on each side by the anterior belly of the digastric muscles, base which is formed by the hyoid bone, and the content inside it is here you can see this is a submental lymph node and submental vein, and it becomes continuous as an anterior-jugular vein inside the neck, and it makes the jugular arch of the vein about to the manubrium. So the submental triangle on its side bounded by the anterior belly of digastric, base it is formed by the hyoid bone, apex it is the symphysis menti, where there is a meeting of the anterior belly of digastric. Floor, here you can see it is formed by the mylohyoid muscles. Content we already discussed, the submental lymph node, and there is a submental vein which is the begin inside the continuous submental vein, and it becomes continuous as anterior-jugular veins. So this is about to the submental triangle. The digastric triangle, which is anteriorly and inferiorly, it is bounded by the anterior belly of digastric. Posteriorly and inferiorly, it is bounded by the posterior belly of digastric. Along with it, there is a stylohyoid muscles. This is a stylohyoid muscles. This one is the stylohyoid muscles. So posteriorly and inferiorly it is bounded by the stylohyoid muscles and the posterior belly of digastric, and the base which is formed by the inferior border of the mandible, which is formed the base. From the angle of the mandible to the mastoid process, there is a thickening of investing layer of deep cervical fascia. So floor of this digastric triangle, which is formed by the anteriorly, it is formed by the mylohyoid muscles. Here you can see the part of mylohyoid, and then it is formed by the hyoglossus muscles. This is a hypoglossal nerve, and just below to it, this is the muscle. It is called the hyoglossus muscles. This is the hyoglossus muscles. And superficial to the hyoglossus there is a hypoglossal nerve, and deep to the hyoglossus there is a lingual artery which is passes, and deep to the lingual artery you can see here there is a superior middle constrictor muscles. So the floor of the digastric triangle, it is formed by the mylohyoid muscles, hyoglossus muscles, and posteriorly it is formed by the middle constrictor muscles. So this one is the middle constrictor muscles. So floor which is formed by the three muscle, middle constrictor, hyoglossus, and mylohyoid muscles. The content of the digastric triangle, which is formed by the Here you can see this is a submandibular lymph node which is lies over the submandibular gland. It is actually superficial, and submandibular gland superficial part, and this is the mylohyoid which is intervenes the superficial part, and there is a deep part of the submandibular gland. So this is the deep part of the submandibular gland. Here you can see, and this deep part, it becomes anteriorly. There is a continuation of the submandibular duct, and inside this is the floor of the tongue, and the above to downwards or lateral to medial side, the structure inside the base of the tongue or floor of the tongue, it is a lingual nerve. Here you can, I will reflect this is a facial artery over the face for the better visualizations. Here you can see this is a lingual nerve, and this is the submandibular ganglion. This one is the submandibular ganglion, and just after that this is the submandibular duct. Medial to it, there is a this is the vessels. It is called the lingual artery and veins along with its lingual artery, and just after that the medially it is a hypogastric nerve. This is a hypogastric nerve. So on the base of the tongue from lateral to medial side, there is a lingual nerve, submandibular duct, lingual vessels, and there is a hypoglossal nerves. So these are the structure on the base of the tongue and between the mylohyoid muscles. Here you can see this is a mylohyoid, and deep to it here you can see there is a genioglossus muscles, but we have not dissected right now. So the content of the digastric triangle are the submandibular lymph node, submandibular gland. There is a this is the submental artery. It is a branch of the facial nerve. Then the nerve to mylohyoid, which is coming from the inferior nerve. This is the only the stem of the nerve to mylohyoid. We have separated from the inside the mandible. We have separated the inferior nerve and preserve it. And here you can see this is the nerve to mylohyoid. Only the stem remaining part which is broken during the dissection, and it supplies to the mylohyoid as well as anterior belly of the digastric. So content, it is the lymph node, submandibular gland, nerve to mylohyoid, submental vessels, as well as submandibular ganglion, lingual nerve, hypoglossal nerve. These are the structure which is lies inside the digastric triangle, and also there is a facial vessels which is lies inside the digastric triangles. You have to remember. So these are the structure which lies inside the digastric part of the submandibular part of the digastric triangle, and the posterior part, this part of the triangle which is called the parotid part of the triangle, and this is a parotid gland. And inside the parotid part of the triangle, the structure you can see, structure inside the parotid part of the triangle. We have dissected the parotid gland also, and you can see there is a stem of the, this is a facial nerve, and it is the divided into the two main trunk of the facial nerve. It is called the cervicofacial and temporofacial part of the facial nerve, and it divides into the 5 branches, and it supplies to the muscles of the face. So parotid part, it contains the facial nerve. This is a retromandibular vein, and deep to the retromandibular vein, just below to the stylohyoid and posterior belly of digastric, you can see this is a external carotid artery. So these are the structure which is lies inside the parotid part of the digastric triangle. You have to remember. So both the triangle, the roof which is formed by the skin, superficial fascia, investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Deep to the posterior belly of digastric, here deep to the external carotid artery, you can also see there is a interjugular vein. So this is the interjugular vein. This is the, for the better visualization I will reflect the sternocleidomastoid. So this is a interjugular vein which is also lies inside the parotid part, into the deep part of the parotid part of the digastric triangle. It contains the interjugular veins. Even the posterior belly of the digastric, it is called the key muscles. I will reflect the both the posterior belly of digastric and styloid muscles for the better visualization of the triangle. Here you can see this is a occipital artery. This is a occipital artery. It is a branch of the external carotid artery, and another is the, this is a posterior auricular artery. You have to remember always there is a digastric, posterior belly of digastric. Normally there is a upper border, it lies the posterior auricular artery, and lower border there is a occipital artery. You have to remember. And lastly, the external carotid artery, which divide into the two terminal branches. This is the maxillary artery, and this is the superficial temporal artery. So this is a superficial temporal artery which is in front of the auricles or ear. It is lies anterior to the ear along with the auriculotemporal nerve. So these are the structure which is lies inside the digastric parotid part of the digastric triangles. Now we will discuss about the carotid triangle, the boundaries of the, for the better visualization I will reflect the submandibular gland above. So the, I will keep the sternocleidomastoids. So this is the carotid triangle. Anteriorly and inferiorly it is bounded by the superior belly of homoid, and anteriorly and superiorly it is bounded by the posterior belly of the digastric along with its styloid muscles. We have also keep the styloid. This is the styloid muscles. So these are the muscles which makes the anteriorly and superiorly and anteriorly and inferiorly superior belly of digastric, and posteriorly it is bounded by the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. Inside the carotid triangle, it itself suggests that it contains the carotid sheath, and it contains, for the better visualization I will keep the sternocleidomastoid muscles on the side. These are the interjugular vein. This is a common carotid artery, and posteriorly there is a vagus nerve wall which is structure, it lies inside the carotid sheath. And above to this carotid sheath, inside the carotid sheath there is a ansa cervicalis. This is the inferior root of the ansa cervicalis. It is formed by the C2 fiber and C3 fiber which is united. It makes the inferior root of the ansa cervicalis. And from the hypoglossal nerve, the fiber which is coming, it is the superior root. The superior root of the ansa cervicalis always lies over the common carotid or external carotid artery, while the inferior root which is over the interjugular vein, and it makes the ansa cervicalis. For the better visualizations I will reflect the sternum to the hyoid, sternohyoid, and superior belly of homoid we will reflect, and you can see this is the ansa cervicalis now. So here you can see this is the superior root of the ansa cervicalis, this is the inferior root of the ansa cervicalis. And you can see also there is a superior thyroid artery which is coming from the beginning of the external carotid artery. So here you can see this is the bifurcations of the common carotid artery. At the level of the thyroid cartilage, it is the C3 or C4 vertebral levels. And it here you can see this is a superior thyroid artery, and it gives the cricothyroid branches, it gives the glandular branches, it also gives the infrahyoid branches. And this ansa cervicalis, which is fiber of the C1, it is goes along with the hypoglossal nerve, and directly fiber coming from the C1 which is innervated to the thyrohyoid and geniohyoid muscles. I will show you the geniohyoid also. This is the anterior belly of digastric, This is the mylohyoid muscles, and deep to the mylohyoid, this is the muscles. It is the geniohyoid muscles, which is also innervated by the branches, the fiber from the hypoglossal nerve. So I will show you. This is a coming from the fiber from the hypoglossal nerve. Just a second. This one is the hypoglossal nerve, and the fiber which is goes inside the geniohyoid. Here you can see. This is the fiber which is goes inside the geniohyoid, and this is the fiber for the thyrohyoid. So the fiber of the C1, which is directly supplies to the thyrohyoid as well as the geniohyoid muscles from the along with the fiber of the C1 along with the hypoglossal nerve. The fiber of the superior root, it also supplies to the superior belly of homoid. I will put into the anatomical position the fiber of the C1 from the superior root. It supplies the superior belly of the homoid, and the ansa cervicalis itself, the superior and inferior root both together, which supplies to the inferior belly of homoid. This is a fiber which is coming. It is the inferior belly of homoid, and another fiber of the ansa cervicalis, which is supplied to the thyrohyoid and geniohyoid muscles, are sternohyoid and sternothyroid muscles. Sternohyoid and sternothyroid muscles. I will show you. This is the sternum to the thyroid. It is the sternothyroid, and this is the sternum to the hyoid. It is the sternohyoid muscles. So the ansa cervicalis itself supplies to the three muscles: sternohyoid, sternum to thyroid, and inferior belly of homoid. This fiber, it is a fiber for the inferior belly of the homoid. Now, other structure inside the carotid triangle. So the structure inside the carotid triangle: interjugular vein, common carotid which bifurcate into the external carotid artery and internal carotid artery. This is the external carotid artery, this is the internal carotid artery, and the vagus nerve. The structure deep to the internal carotid artery inside the carotid triangle are the, here you can see, this is a one ganglion, this is a superior cervical ganglion, and this is a sympathetic chain. And also you can see the branches coming from the vagus. It is a superior laryngeal nerve, and this superior laryngeal nerve which divide into the internal laryngeal nerve. This is the internal laryngeal nerve. I will show you. This is a superior laryngeal nerve. I will you can see this is a superior internal laryngeal nerve, and deep to it there is a continuation of the nerve. It is a external laryngeal nerve. Here you can see this is a external laryngeal nerve. Mainly after reflecting this infrahyoid muscles, this external laryngeal nerve which goes along with the cricothyroid branch. So this is a cricothyroid, and this is the continuation of the external laryngeal which is pierced to the cricothyroid muscles. So this is a external laryngeal nerve, and you have to. So for the whenever thyroidectomy, this is the thyroid gland. Here you can see this is the right lobe, and this is the left lobe, and this is the isthmus, this is the trachea, and this is the cricothyroid. This is the thyroid cartilage, and just below to the cricothyroid there is a cricoid cartilage. So whenever you can do the thyroidectomy, removal of the thyroid, the superior thyroid artery, this artery which is ligated near to the glands, to prevent the injury to the external laryngeal nerve, and the inferior thyroid artery which is ligated, this is the external laryngeal nerve, and this is a recurrent laryngeal nerve, and this is the inferior thyroid artery. So during the thyroidectomy, the inferior thyroid artery which is ligated away from the gland, because the near to the gland both are very close to each others. So this is a recurrent laryngeal nerve and this is the inferior thyroid artery. You have to ligate away from the glands, while the superior thyroid artery and are ligated near to the glands. So now we will discuss about the structure inside the branches inside the carotid triangle, branches of the external carotid inside the carotid triangle. First branch, it is the superior thyroid artery. The second branch, it is the anteriorly, it is the lingual artery, and there is a third branch which is emerging. Here I have got the facial artery. Here you can see this is a facial artery. This is the three branches which is emerging anteriorly. It is a superior thyroid, lingual and facial. And the posteriorly, the external carotid artery, it gives the occipital artery. And another branch of the external carotid artery which is emerging from the medial side. Here you can see this is a artery which is emerging from the medially. It is a ascending pharyngeal artery. So this is the ascending pharyngeal artery which is goes medially and it is enter inside the pharynx. This is a ascending pharyngeal artery just below to the hypoglossal nerve. This is the ascending pharyngeal artery. So these are the five branches which is emerging inside the carotid triangle. The floor of the carotid triangle which is formed by the how to separate the constrictor muscles. You have to remember for the separation of the constrictor muscles, I will reflect this is the masseter muscles on the side. I have already removed the mandibles and to preserve the inferior nerve. And how you can separate the three muscles, constrictor muscles. This is the styloid process and this is a styloglossus. Before we will discuss about this, I will reflect the stylohyoid and the posterior belly of digastric, and I will show you the another branches of the external carotid artery. We already discussed this is the occipital artery, this is a posterior auricular artery, and this one is the two terminal branches. It is a superficial temporal and this is a maxillary artery inside the infratemporal fossa. But these are the three artery: posterior auricular, superficial temporal, and the maxillary artery, which is not lies inside the carotid triangle. So in short, I will just say that inside the carotid triangle there is an internal jugular vein, vagus nerve, common carotid which is bifurcated into the external carotid and internal carotid. The external carotid gives the five branches inside the carotid triangle: superior thyroid, lingual, facial. We have reflected the facial, so this is a facial, and occipital, and this is a ascending pharyngeal artery. So here you can see this is a ascending pharyngeal artery below to the hypoglossal nerve. So these are the five branches of the external carotid artery. Deep to the internal carotid artery, you can see this is a sympathetic superior cervical ganglion along with sympathetic chain, superior laryngeal nerve, and the fiber of the C2 and C3 and cervical is also lies inside the carotid triangle. So these are the content of the carotid triangle. And now we will discuss about the how to floor of the muscles of the carotid triangles. Differentiated. First of all, this is the styloid process and this is a stylopharyngeus, this is a styloglossus, and this is a glossopharyngeal nerve. This is the styloid process, this is a styloglossus, and it is merged inside the tongue, stylopharyngeus, and this is a glossopharyngeal nerve. Above to it, the muscle, it is the muscles of the pharynx, it is a superior constrictor. Below to these muscles, and here you can, I will reflect the hypoglossal nerve, and this muscle, it is the middle constrictor of the pharynx, and below to the hyoid bone, you have to remember this is the hyoid bone, the muscle, it is the inferior constrictor of the pharynx. So how to differentiate styloglossus and stylopharyngeus? Above to it, this is the superior constrictor muscles, and between the styloglossus and the hyoid bone, it is a middle constrictor muscles, and below to the hyoid bone, it is a inferior constrictor of the pharynx. This is the inferior constrictor of the pharynx. I will also reflect this is the pharyngeal part, and so these are the three muscles: inferior constrictor, this is a middle constrictor muscles, this one is a middle constrictor, and above there is a superior constrictor muscles. So the floor of the carotid triangle, which is formed by the posteriorly, it is formed by the, I will put the again into the anatomical positions everything, superiorly and above, anteriorly and superiorly hyoglossus, anteriorly and inferiorly it is formed by the, anteriorly and inferiorly it is formed by the thyroid, anteriorly and superiorly there is a hyoglossus, and posteriorly and superiorly it is formed by the middle constrictor, and posteriorly and inferiorly there is a inferior constrictor. But I will also say that there is a scalenius anterior muscles. Definitely I have seen the many dissection. I have dissected myself, and I have seen there is a scalenius anterior also making the floor of the carotid triangle. So in books it is not mentioned, but I will definitely say the scalenius anterior muscles, which is also makes the floor of the carotid triangles. So this is about to the carotid triangle. Hope you like this video. And the last triangle, it is a muscular triangle, and inside the carotid triangle also you have to remember there is a spinal accessory nerve which is lies, hypoglossal, and there is a vagus nerve. This is the interjugular vein, this is the carotid, this is the vagus nerve. So last three cranial nerve, spinal accessory is 11, this is the vagus is 10, and hypoglossal is 10th cranial nerve. And you have to remember the posterior belly of digastric, it is called the key muscles because structure, these are the three cranial nerve as well as the common carotid are external carotid, internal carotid, interjugular vein. These are the structure lies behind to it. So the posterior belly of the digastric, it is also called the key muscles of the anterior triangles. The last triangle we will discuss, it is a muscular triangle. The muscular triangle, it is bounded by the anteriorly, it is the muscular triangle, which is bounded by the anterior midline. Posteriorly and superiorly, it is bounded by the superior belly of homoid, and posteriorly and inferiorly, it is bounded by the anterior belly of the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid, lower part of the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. So and mainly it contains the infrahyoid muscles. You have to remember it contains the infrahyoid muscles, sternum to hyoid, sternohyoid, superior belly of homoid, sternum to thyroid, it is the sternothyroid, and just below to it there is a thyroid gland. You can see there is a trachea, there is a superior thyroid artery, branches of the superior thyroid artery, and extralaryngeal nerves. And also side view, there is a common carotid artery, and the carotid sheath, it contains the interjugular vein and vagus nerve, which is lies inside the deep part of the muscular triangle. But you have to remember mainly it contains the sternohyoid and homoid into the superficial group, and deep group it contains the sternothyroid and thyroid to hyoid muscles. So this is about to the structure which lies inside the anterior triangle you have seen. Now I will show you the structure which lies between the external carotid artery. This is the external carotid artery, and this is the internal carotid artery. So which are the structure which is lies between these two arteries? So first of all, you can see this is the styloid process. This is the stylopharyngeus. This is a styloglossus, stylopharyngeus, glossopharyngeal nerve, and here you can see this is a vagus nerve. It gives a pharyngeal branch. This is a pharyngeal branch of the vagus nerve, and here you can see this is the upper one, vertical nerve. It is a branches which is coming from the glossopharyngeal nerve. It is the branches which is coming from the glossopharyngeal nerve. It is a branches are the carotid body and carotid sinus. These are the branches which is goes to the carotid body and carotid sinus, and this is a pharyngeal nerve of the vagus. So these are the structure which is lies between the external carotid artery and internal carotid artery. Hope you will understand all the things, and structure lies inside the carotid triangle. Thank you very much.